202, roll call please.
Taub? Here. Woodward is absent with notice. Fleming?
Yeah, here.
Berman?
Here.
And Commissioner Quarles is running late. Spiz?
Here.
Quorum?
All right, thank you. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Take a motion for the approval of the minutes of January 9, 2018. Moved by Fleming, supported by Taub. Any questions, comments on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Minutes are passed or approved. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda. Moved by Berman, supported by Taub. Any questions, comments on the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor of the agenda as presented? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Agenda has been approved. Anyone here for public comment? Sure? All right. We'll move on to the regular agenda. First item we have up today on the regular agenda is Economic Development and Community Affairs Resolution approving the provisions of a second Brownfield Plan Amendment for the Iron Ridge Project, City of Ferndale and Pleasant Ridge. Moved by Taub, supported by Fleming. Mr. Hunter.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Dan Hunter, Deputy Director with Economic Development, and Brad Hanson, Senior Business Development Representative. This is the Iron Ridge Project, which is back before you again for an amendment, as some parcels were combined, and under the Brownfield Act, we have to bring it back for another round. So the numbers are the same as before. So I don't know, Brad, if you want to add anything to that.
I can give you a quick overview if you want. This
Yeah,
is,
please.
Okay.
It's
This,
new to many of us.
the previous Brownfield Plan Amendment went to the Planning and Building Committee before, so a brief update on this project. It's 13-acre project in both the City of Pleasant Ridge and Ferndale. The former Walker Wire 70,000 square foot building is currently there. They're going to be cleaning up and redoing that building, as well as building about 230,000 square feet of additional apartment spaces on the Ferndale side of things. They also have beer garden offices, gym. I think that's it. So it's roughly a $25 to $32 million investment for the two cities. And when it's fully completed, it's going to be roughly 200 to 250 full-time jobs created. The eligible activities on the site, there's a lot of petroleum and other chemicals associated with the Walker Wire site. The tax base is going to go up in Ferndale from currently $398,000 to $4.7 million roughly, and in Pleasant Ridge from $650,000 to $3.1 million when this project is complete. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Taub.
Yes, so this would be west of Woodward, correct?
East of, is it west or east? East of Woodward.
Oh,
South of 10
Pleasant Ridge.
Mile.
I thought, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
thought Pleasant. Okay, it's
Off that
east.
Service Drive.
Okay.
606.
Yeah. Apartments are gonna be in Ferndale?
Correct.
And they're rentals for just anybody, or is there a certain kind of rentals in there, or no?
I don't believe there's any classification
No.
as far as who the rents are. I think just be open.
Okay,
Okay.
and both communities have agreed. On the second whereas, just above, the now therefore be it resolved, there's a typo there. The word has, in two places, should be the word have, H-A-V-E.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, where are you?
Second, whereas above, the now therefore be it resolved. The second one above. The
Okay.
City of Ferndale and the City of Pleasant Ridge.
Okay, yep.
Got it?
Yeah.
Have revised, and then further down, section 13 of the act, no, that's have approved of it. Yeah, have, the word should be have there too,
English major.
yeah.
I was wondering.
In the first whereas above, where is the?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
friendly amendments,
Yeah, well, they're not amendments, they're just typos.
Typos.
friendly typos, that's right.
Friendly typos.
Friendly adjustments,
That's better.
modifications.
Okay. What was there that was hazardous?
The Walker Wire building was there probably since the 1930s. Back then, they don't have the same regulations, so in there, I can go in great detail if you want, but basically.
Hit the highlights, please.
Yeah, there's higher concentration of petroleum, volatile organic compounds or VOCs, benzene, which are all above the standard set forth by the state and the US EPA.
Okay. That's
So,
fine.
if I'm not just going from memory, some were pretty high.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad site, it's a contaminated site.
Yeah.
So
For
you're
sure.
gonna have apartments and a brewery, is that it, basically?
Yeah, there's office space.
And some offices as well.
Okay.
Yep.
In the brewery? That'd be
Yes,
nice.
kind of an open air.
Asking.
Yeah, open air brewery and beer garden, so it's gonna be like more of an open area as well for the summertime, spring and summer.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Todd,
Yes?
Fleming,
Yes.
Berman,
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, great. Before we move on to the next one, we need to make an announcement to set a public hearing for the Oakland County Board of Commissioners on February 21st at 7 p.m. for the resolution approving the provisions of a second brownfield plan amendment for the Iron Ridge project, City of Ferndale and Pleasant Ridge. Moving on to item number 2, Economic Development and Community Affairs, delete and create of a position, moved by Fleming, supported by Berman. Connor?
I'm joined by Jennifer Llewellyn, who's manager of our Workforce Development Division. This resolution is requesting a current general fund part-time position and making it a full-time position, with the balance being paid for by the workforce development dollars, non-general fund. The level of work that Ms. Llewellyn and the Michigan Works offices are doing is phenomenal. And so we need the position to support the programs and the, so we asked Jennifer to put together a brief PowerPoint describing some of the activities, or many of the activities, of the Workforce Development Division. So if it's okay, we'd like to go through that.
Yeah, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. The Oakland County Michigan Works Agency is one of the 16 statewide Michigan Works agencies under the Governor's Regional Prosperity Initiative. There were consolidations of Michigan Works agencies from 25 down to 16. Oakland County survived those consolidations, and we are now the last standing single county workforce area in Michigan, which is an exciting opportunity for us. Per federal regulations, we are mandated to follow direction by an appointed workforce development board, as well as the local elected official. So we have County Executive Brooks Patterson and our Workforce Development Board driving our initiatives under the Oakland County Economic Development and Community Affairs Department. Our funding is unique. It comes primarily from the U.S. Department of Labor, with some support from Department of Health and Human Services and Department of Agriculture. That funding flows from the federal level down to the state of Michigan, Talent and Economic Development Department and Talent Investment Agency, down to Oakland County. We then allocate those funds to our service providers. We have 8 locations across Oakland County currently. We are in the process of consolidating our Ferndale and Oak Park locations into our Oak Park location. And each one of those providers is a subcontractor. So for example, our Troy office is operated by Troy School District. Our Highland and Novi offices are operated by Goodwill Industries. Through those offices, we operate about 12 to 15 different federal and state job training programs. Many of these are very complex, but target different populations. So some are targeted to youth, ages 16 to 24, to unemployed adults. Some are targeted towards cash assistance or food assistance recipients, and many of them are targeted to our business community, As Dan mentioned, the Skilled Trades Training Fund just provided $2.1 million to 86 Oakland County companies. Many people know Michigan Works for the job seeker and talent services that we provide. Not as many know about the excellent business services that our team provides through the 8 offices. This is just a brief summary of those services, but it's so much more than that. This slide could probably go on for 4 pages of meeting with our job seekers in our community and our residents, as well as meeting the hiring needs and unfortunately sometimes layoff needs of our local companies.
I'm just going to add in there, so our economic development team, when we're working on a project, let's say Valio, Tier 1 supplier, we're, as part of that proposal, a key part of that is the workforce development component for existing employees as well as new hires. That piece of the proposal goes right in, and there was a day when we didn't have that. So it really makes Oakland stand out among some of our competitors.
We're actually able to quantify the value of the services through workforce development that the company could receive if they choose Oakland County. So they can see all of the services and what the value of that is. We also work with our partners like Automation Alley or Oakland Community College to include incentives from them as well. So they see a full package of the full workforce development services that they could receive if they choose Oakland County. So the need for expanding this position from part-time to a full-time position as a result of so many new and expanding initiatives. As you know, workforce development and talent is the hot topic these days. When we talk to businesses, that's their #1 need. And so our work focuses not only on immediate needs of our businesses, but also how do we expand the talent pipeline of the future. And one of those efforts is our Manufacturing Day. So this is our 3rd year. We're going into our 4th year of Manufacturing Day. This past year we had over 500, actually nearly 700 high school students from the 4 Oakland Schools Technical Centers, as well as 6 local school districts that toured 35 different manufacturing facilities. The marketing and outreach for this program is critical. And having the support of a full-time staff member for the outreach to businesses, outreach to school districts, and the coordination of those activities is critical.
If I may interrupt you, I may have missed it, but you said expanding. How are you expanding the program?
More companies
More companies are going to be involved,
and
so more buses?
more high school students.
So I know I went to the one over here in Auburn, Auburn Hills County area, this year, so I'm just wondering how, because the room was packed. You couldn't find a seat in the room. So I'm just wondering how, you don't have the, I guess, brick and mortar to expand in that area, so I was just wondering how you were going to do it.
Yeah, we're hoping to add more school districts. This year we had 6 school districts, and we're hoping to increase that this year as well. Another new initiative is our National Apprenticeship Week. So the 3rd week of November each year is National Apprenticeship Week. 2 years ago, we partnered with Oakland Community College for an event on their campus. But this past November, we launched an apprenticeship Twitter chat, which was something that was new to our team. We were looking for a way to engage with the public without necessarily having the cost of an event or the time of an event. So we hosted our first Twitter chat. We had 17 employers and partners that joined on the Twitter chat, and for 1 hour of tweeting about apprenticeships and why they're important, we were able to reach 52,940 people and make 161,431 impressions. So just for 1 hour of work of tweeting, but a lot of the design, the outreach, the press release, the engagement with the partners came from our marketing and communication team. And we're hoping to have additional Twitter chats in 2018 on other topics like internships or other workforce topics. Hopefully you're familiar with our apprenticeship guide. This year we've distributed already 6,000 of the apprenticeship guides. The 2017 to 2019 edition featured 60 occupations, 19 of them were new, primarily in information technology. We've been spending a lot of work with our business community, educating them on how to implement apprenticeships. Everyone knows what an apprenticeship is, but they're not sure where to start. So our team is working diligently to distribute this book and then also engage with businesses and students and parents and counselors on apprenticeship opportunities. The whole book was designed by our marketing and communications team. The content was prepared by the Workforce Development Division, but the design and the layout was all prepared, and it looks beautiful. We mentioned previously the Michigan Skilled Trades Training Fund. We are now in our 5th year of the Michigan Skilled Trades Training Fund. As you can see from our screen here, there's been a drastic increase in demand and success for this program. So for this year, we submitted 99 applications. All 8 of our Michigan Works offices facilitate those grant applications and the training plans with the employers, and created 46 new apprenticeships and impacted over 3,000 employees. This is a highly successful program. We're actually working now in Lansing to get this program codified, as it is an initiative of Governor Snyder. It's been an impactful program, and we're hoping to expand it. $29 million was available this year, so we were pleased to receive $2.1 million of that. A lot of energy goes into outreach, press releases. We host information sessions for our employers, and the marketing communications role in getting that information out to our business community is very important. One of our new initiatives for 2017 in partnership with Oakland County Veterans Services Division was the Veterans Reboot Project. This is targeted at military veterans, any veteran, not just recently released, but any military veteran that is in need of workforce development assistance. We do offer that at the 8 Michigan Works locations, but thought that it would be equally as important to offer some of those services at the Veterans Services locations. So the first Friday of each month from 9 to 11 a.m., we have a team of staff at both locations, Troy and Pontiac, along with area employers, to engage directly with veterans. We've had, quite honestly, some lower numbers than we'd like to see in this program, not as many veterans attending as we had hoped. So we're really hoping to amp up the marketing and outreach and social media campaigns to encourage more veterans to attend these sessions.
Yeah. Jennifer, just a quick question, if I may, on the vets. Do they have to be Oakland County residents, or could they come from other counties?
They can come from anywhere.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Sorry, but since she interrupted, could we back up one slide? Another one. It was the 2.1 million there. 2018, 2.1 million awarded. And I'm reading across there, number of apprenticeship. Is that apprenticeship programs or head counts? 46.
Head counts. 46 new apprenticeships.
So 46, but of the $2.1 million, that equates to 46 new jobs for apprenticeship. That's not apprenticeship program, that's a head count.
It's 46 new apprenticeships plus the 1,584 new hires.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna make sure I understand. So that's an additional 46 in addition to the 1,584.
Yep, the
and
incumbent.
And the incumbent 1,538.
Companies can receive up to $3,000 for each new apprenticeship.
Okay.
And up to $1,500 for each new hire. A new addition to this program is this year, as well as if they hire a veteran, they receive an additional $500.
Okay, I understand it now, thank you.
Our skill needs assessment projects in 2017, we released the 4th of the series on connected mobility, by far probably one of the most exciting and a bit intimidating because connected mobility is so complex and so exciting. So this year's connected mobility effort didn't just end with the report in March of 2017. Our efforts have now turned to meeting with our education providers, community colleges, universities, and proprietary schools to make sure that they're taking the data from the skill needs assessment and then shaping their curriculum to meet the needs of what our employers are telling us. Our most triumphant success was Oakland University launched a Master's in Systems Engineering program in September, and a portion of the curriculum was actually shaped on the data from the Connected Mobility Skill Needs Assessment. So in their press release where they talked about the launch of the new program, they referenced the SNAP survey and connected mobility. So that's a great example. We've been meeting with Baker College, Oakland Community College, Macomb Community College, and other regional education providers to make sure that we are preparing the workforce of tomorrow. So work continues in this project, even though the report was released last spring. Another new initiative for 2017, so I hope you're catching on to a trend here of a lot of exciting things happening in 2017, but a new one is our PLC Robotics and Automation Training Program. Our partners at the Workforce Intelligence Network applied for and received a U.S. Department of Labor America's Promise Grant, which was focused on training in advanced manufacturing. We had high demand in this area for PLC and robotics technicians, with feedback from FANUC and KUKA and other major employers in Oakland County. In the fall of 2017, our first 14 students started at Oakland Community College for a 15-week, 40-hour per week PLC robotics and PLC certification. 14 of the 15 students graduated in December. We had a great graduation ceremony, and we just started our second cohort in January. This requires a significant amount of outreach. There's not a lot of individuals that can put their life on hold for 15 weeks, 40 hours a week to pursue training programs that meet the qualifications of what we're looking for. So we've spent a lot of energy and effort in marketing and outreach to target populations, high school youth, high school graduates, unemployed, underemployed individuals, to help them get retrained and upgraded as PLC and robotics technicians. This is a 4-year grant. We're in our first year. There's also an incumbent worker portion of this grant. After we enroll individuals that are unemployed, underemployed, and youth, we will then have the opportunity to provide training programs to businesses.
I know an individual. I've referred him to the program. He graduated from high school, went to Florida, working in a restaurant, another restaurant, came back about 6 months ago. He hooked up with a landscaping company, and he's not happy with it. So he's 22, and he would be a good candidate.
That's our target population. So in addition to those initiatives, we just have the routine outreach to businesses, job seekers, and youth. Last year we had about 161,000 visitors through our 8 offices, with the unemployment rate at 3.2, 3.5%. It's important that we reach out to those individuals that are maybe not engaged in the workforce or are recently returning to the workforce. So there's a lot of effort that's going into outreach to target populations. In addition, there's more advocacy work needed in Washington, D.C. and in Lansing, and so many of our efforts are working on flyers and websites and social media and press releases to make sure that people know who we are, what we do, and the importance and value of what we provide. Our most exciting initiative for 2018 is My Career Quest Southeast, and I actually brought some materials to share with you today. But this event is scheduled for November 28th of 2018 for 10,000 high school students. It will be held at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. There are 4 different career quadrants where students will have hands-on opportunities to participate in exhibits. So construction, information technology, advanced manufacturing, and healthcare. 100% of this event will be paid for, hopefully, with sponsorships from our business community. And we're working closely with the regional Michigan Works agencies. We have sponsorship from the Michigan Talent Investment Agency for this event. We're having a kickoff meeting on March 1st at the Conference Center to help engage K-12, universities, colleges, and hopefully our business partners in this event. This is a heavy lift. This is a big project that we're taking on, but we're excited. It was started by West Michigan Works on the west side of the state. We've now replicated that effort here, and we're excited to bring it to Southeast Michigan. 2 of our last initiatives are mitradeschool.org. This website was launched, targeted at students, parents, educators, counselors, to learn more about career opportunities in the skilled trades. We spend a lot of time promoting this website, especially to students, and reaching out to them. They can go on the site, they can find education programs, career opportunities, and labor market information about wages and what type of demand are specifically involved in the skilled trades occupations. And new last year, we now have a dedicated workforce development staff member to the Tech 248 initiative. So one of our staff members from our Troy office, Sarah Kropinski, is dedicated to Tech 248 and supporting our small tech companies and large tech companies with their workforce needs. So they have a single point of contact. If they have any workforce needs or challenges, they have a designated staff member for that. This is just a summary of other routine needs and opportunities, managers' reports. There's a lot of communication groups at the state level to make sure we have consistency of message of the Michigan Works brand. In February of this year, one of our Oakland County companies, Red Level Networks, will be recognized with the Michigan Works Impact Award for their commitment to hiring Oakland County residents and utilizing the workforce system. Routine press releases, Money Smart Week. So there's a high demand, a lot of activities in the Workforce Development Division, and we would appreciate the consideration to bring this opportunity full time.
All right, anything else?
Any questions?
Good.
Commissioner Top?
Yes, okay, so Ferndale is gonna merge with Oak Park. Is the staff going to merge too?
There are a few, probably about 4 of the 15 staff will merge to the Oak Park location, and we're working with the balance of the staff to get placed in other locations throughout the system.
Okay, so they'll stay within the system, but
We
go
hope so,
someplace
yes.
else. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call please.
Fleming.
Yes.
Berman.
Yes.
Quarles.
Yes.
Taub.
Yes.
Spiz.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have item number 3, Oakland County Brownfield Redevelopment Authority Progress Report 2015-2017. Mr. Hunter and Mr. Hanson again.
Informational item. This is the last 3 years. I'll pass it up, Brett. Or Brad, go ahead. It's really cool that our marketing support group helped us put together, and a lot of the content came from Brad. But you have seen over the last 2 or 3 years a fair amount of activity with our Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. And so this is not an annual report, this is a snapshot of the last 2 or 3 years. And we're very proud of the report, very proud of the Brownfield Authority members, the projects and the private sector investment, that if we didn't have that, we would have no meetings. We would, if there was no interest in the village of Bloomfield or Iron Ridge, we would have no report. Now, many of the communities have brownfield authorities, so our authority is basically the balance of Oakland County, or in the unique situation like Pleasant Ridge and Ferndale, where it straddled a border. So we've been very busy, and with your support over the last 2 or 3 years, you've seen those projects. Some really neat ones. Brad, am I stealing your thunder getting into the M1 concourse?
No, I actually got an electronic version of it. I can walk through it.
Yeah, the M1 might be one of the favorites, but they're all good.
So I got an electronic version here, so
Can't afford.
to walk through it quickly, I'll try to not take up too much time.
Technology. Don't we have somebody from IT here?
It's really cool, though. I mean, it's nice to.
Did he win an award recently too?
Yeah, for knowing when not to get up and volunteer.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay, so let's just suppose we grant a brownfield to from company, okay? And then they renege on the deal, what happens?
Well, it's their money that's going in to improve the site. So if they renege, they basically are not going to get themselves repaid. So it's their skin in the game. That without, we wouldn't have a project. And many of these have little to no current tax base, or very little. So they're motivated to, have a good project, really think it through.
I'm still waiting for the shovels in Bloomfield, but I won't talk about it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You got it, Brad?
Yep. So, quickly run through this. We're, extremely excited about our progress in the past 8 years. You can see the numbers on the front cover. More than $270 million in new proposed investments, $45 million in increased taxable value for Oakland County. And another important, probably the most important for the Brownfield program itself, is the more than 300 acres of formerly idled and contaminated land that's being reused, which is amazing. Pete Webster, our chairperson, in his message equated it to Springfield Oaks, the size of Springfield Oaks that have been reclaimed and put into reuse. So that's a huge amount of land that's being put back to use, which is great. Here on the cover is actually a rendering of the brewery from Iron Ridge, so you can see what it will look like in the future down in Pleasant Ridge and Ferndale. This is the actual garage at M1 Concourse, which I think you're all familiar with. It's a great project on a project that was a GM property dating back all the way back to 1909. So this is a great use for this project right on Woodward in the Motor City. They've gotten a lot of calls from worldwide about this project, and it's exciting. And they're moving on to the next phase, which would be office and restaurant on the corner there, which is exciting. Message from Brooks Patterson. Pete Webster is our chairperson. He's been on the board for the entirety of the Brownfield board, along with Dan Hunter and Keith Letterman now. They've been on since 2001, so our board is probably the most well-versed board, OCDR, BRA board in the state. Very proud of our board members and what they've accomplished over the past, well, since 2001, but most notably in the last 3 years. Overview just gives you some acronyms as far as Brownfield and other economic tools in the state. We'll go over the projects quickly. This is the Pontiac Challenge Manufacturing, or Pontiac Automation and Assembly, a $52 million project. This is what it currently looks like. Currently employs 400 full-time employees. This was on a GM bus and truck and bus site in Pontiac.
This is in the backyard of the Center Point Marriott, right there at Square Lake Road and Updike.
And there's still roughly about 100 acres back there for other projects. M1 Concourse, already touched on that, but to date, it's $43 million not invested out there, which is a nice number. Some pictures of during construction and what it looks like currently, I believe. The different phases of construction. Dan's Excavating, a company out of Macomb County. They needed to expand. They do a lot of work, infrastructure work. They're currently doing the I-75 project. So they needed a Pontiac location. This property came up. This was a former Racer Trust site as well. There's 48 acres. They only needed a small amount of land for what they needed. So the exciting thing about the future is there's potential for an industrial park on the balance of the land. That's something they envisioned when they bought the property. So that's something that we may be looking forward to in the future. It's a picture of the building that was a brand new build, $1.7 million investment. Dunhill Park subdivision, it's in the city of Novi. Hunter Pasture Homes, gives you an idea, $17 million investment, and some pictures of the inside of the proposed houses up there. 23.76 acres, so decent sized houses, to say the least. Exciting project. Yeah, I'm sure if you come in from the east, you'll see this on a daily basis like I do. Exciting. The building's all enclosed now. They're doing, looks like drywall and some electrical in there now. They're shooting to get into the building in March. So this is a very aggressive time frame for them because I believe they started in September. So they're hoping to be in there in March. $5.6 million investment. City of Pontiac's excited. They call this their gateway into the east gateway into the city. AUK wanted to move their headquarters downtown. They are currently in the city of Pontiac, but they wanted to move their headquarters downtown in order to give their employees a more walkable experience for what that'd be the launcher afterwards. The Village at Bloomfield. This is what it looked like before the demolition happened. I actually think our marketing team, but the sky's a little bit grayer on there.
I don't know, that might look better than some other pictures I saw.
So, but that's what it looked like before the demolition. This was all obsolete and, you know, open to the elements for a better part of a decade. And this is what the proposed rendering of the site. You know, they're trying to pour the pad for Menards on the portion of the site, and there's some other, last time we talked to them, there was some waiting for some letters of intent, and they have some letters of intent already signed. They're looking at possibly a hotel, a grocer, movie theater, offices.
Commissioner Taub has a question for you
Yes.
on this one.
But Bloomfield does not have a brownfield, correct?
Correct. Which is the city.
Yeah.
Just the city of Pontiac.
Correct.
Thank you.
Revore Metals on South Boulevard. We were here last month for United Shore project, which is not in this progress report, but this is literally right across from United Shore and right across the street from them on Concourse as well. But this is a $6 million investment. City of Detroit project that moved up to, or City of Detroit company that moved up to Pontiac. They actually recently just bought some more property in Pontiac, so they're looking at expanding even further into the city, into the county. 40 full-time jobs were created, and they're expecting 40 more full-time jobs created, and they're going to be building another building or two on this site. And Iron Ridge redevelopment, which we just talked about, so I don't go into too many details. Some more renderings of the beer garden and brewery. Team, and another rendering of the Iron Ridge development.
Thank you, Brad. So all these are done with the support of the communities that passed resolutions. That Revore project, it was such a mess on South Boulevard, and it had been a concern to the city leaders for many years under the previous ownership. So they, you know, just a single @1 project. They love what has already taken place there. Some of the landscaping and cleaning things up. So that is, that's a couple, 3 years of activity.
Great, thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
For Dan and Brad? No? Great, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad.
And a motion to receive and file moved by Wade, supported by Taub. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, received and filed. Next, we have some more informational content. Economic Development and Community Affairs Department Overview.
Commissioners, if I could share one quick thing, the Walker Wire Building down in Pleasant Ridge.
Yes, sir.
I was with the Equalization Division. I was a young appraiser, and I had to do the assessing, tax assessing down there. And I got an appraisal from on the Walker Wire and Steel Building, and they compared it to all Detroit buildings. So I contacted the appraiser in Ohio, and I said, "Why'd you do that?" And they said it was across the street from the Detroit Zoo. So I thought it was in the city of Detroit. We won the appeal.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, Irene, how are you?
Thank you for the opportunity to give an overview of our department.
Yes.
You'll see our staff is here, our managers are here for each of our divisions. I could not be prouder of every single one of them and the work that they do and the passion they have for the work that they do. I'm very fortunate to be a part of this team, and I'll just get into the presentation.
Okay.
Okay? So, why economic development? What do we do? Why do we exist? We exist to develop a strategy that focuses on building and maintaining a stable, prosperous, as Brooke says, recession-resistant as possible economy for our residents, our businesses, and our communities. We have 3 goals that we work on. Our customers, we have 3 major customer segments: the residents of Oakland County, the the businesses of Oakland County and the communities of Oakland County, the cities, villages, and townships. Those are our three customer base groups that we serve. And our goals are jobs, investment, and making our communities a place where people and businesses want to locate. Those are our goals, are all of our achieved goals. We have activities in each of those communities and each of those goals that lead up to that, but ultimately, that is our goal here. And stop me anytime, ask any questions, staff, if I forget anything, please jump in. So how are we aligned to achieve these goals? How do we build competitive communities? How do we do our business development? And how do we maintain our talent? You'll see some of the things that we work on, really focusing on downtowns and through our Main Street community, our Main Street Oakland County program, really focusing on that downtown and making sure they're healthy, viable areas. Blight removal and continuing the quality of life, which we are fortunate to enjoy here in Oakland County. Business development, it's pretty simple. Attraction, retention, expansion. We focus a lot on retention when times are good, because we want to keep those businesses here, even though we feel a lot of competition, not just from other states, other regions in the state, but other countries around the world that are coming, visiting our community, trying to recruit businesses to their community. So retention is a very important project focus for our business development team. Entrepreneurship is another area through our One Stop Shop Business Center that is a very high focus for us. It has been. In the past, during the recession of the 2008-2009, the state of Michigan and the county put a lot of resources into entrepreneurship because, to be honest, there were no jobs to be had, so we had to create our own jobs. So we put a lot of time, resources, programs to help those individuals start their own businesses, whether it's a lawn service or an app company or an IT company. That was our focus. And we're continuing with that. Even though our unemployment rate is low, we think we need to continue maintaining that entrepreneurial edge in Oakland County because of two reasons. One, a recession is always around the corner, but also two, that having that entrepreneurial ecosystem helps us attract and retain some of our large tech companies that are always looking for new technology. So having that pool of talent and technology benefits us. These are the official divisions. I think you have an org chart in front of you that we work on, and again, I cannot be prouder of the work. I'm going to go into some of the detail. Oh yeah, let's introduce ourselves. That's a good idea.
Okay.
So, go ahead, Mary.
I'm Mary Langhauser. I run Financial Services, which is the Business Finance Corporation and the Economic Development Corporation.
Jennifer Llewellyn, Workforce Development.
Brett Rasigan from Planning.
Carrie Reed, Manager of Community and Home Improvement, administering federal housing and community development grants.
Paula Harrington, I'm Marketing Communications that supports the 6 business units and what Jennifer so eloquently presented today.
Mr. Huber.
I'm Steve Huber. I'm the Marketing Communications Officer in Economic Development. Greg Doyle, One Stop Shop Business Center.
And Brad Hanson. And we have one business unit person who's not with us today, Ryan Cram, who heads up our business development team, and that's the retention, expansion, attraction. He was actually doing a presentation at the Oakland County City Managers Association that met in Southfield right now. He might be popping in a minute.
So in terms of business development, we're focusing on 2 areas: our emerging sectors area, which you all have heard of before. In these areas, how we pick those areas based on data, but also based on what makes sense for our community, for our residents, and for our existing businesses. We looked at who do we have here, and which industries make sense for us to go in the next area. What I love about these industries, especially robotics, automation, they touch every vertical industry, whether it's aerospace, automotive, healthcare. The same is true for IT tech. The same is true for advanced materials and advanced electronics. Those are the sectors that I feel are key sectors because of the fact that they transform against many vertical industries: automotive, aerospace, defense, so forth. And of course, automotive. Traditional automotive is our bread and butter. We will always focus on that, but we're really excited to see that we're seeing the next generation automotive industry here as well. The mobility, the connected car, all the sensor companies, all the big data companies, everything that goes into that next generation mobility is here in Oakland County and is coming. Why the emerging sector strategy? It really is to diversify the makeup of the industry. So we're not relying on any one industry in the county. Not just automotive, not just aerospace, not just defense. We hedge our bets, as Brooke says. So if one industry's down, yeah, other industries hopefully are doing a lot better, and we can waver through any type of downturn. The same is true of foreign direct investment. We are very good at foreign direct investment, and it's an important strategy for us because of the fact that if the U.S. is in an economic downturn, the rest of the world, or at least a part of the rest of the world, will not be. So again, hedging our bets. So I feel very confident and comfortable where we are today and where we're heading, because not only will we be technologically diversified, we'll also be geographically diversified. So.
One of the neat things about the 10 sectors is you'll find many states that wouldn't even have half this many in terms of what they're trying to retain and expand. So we're very robust, and they're still relevant today. We do look at them on a continual basis, but it really requires our staff to become somewhat experts in these areas, and they're different. Automotive is entirely different than the robotics and automation. So it served us well in the past, and it will continue to.
So our focus areas are Tech 248, our IT initiative, Medical Main Street, our life science, automotive, advanced manufacturing, and foreign direct investment. All the other sectors we're still very focused on, but proactively we're focusing on these sectors right now because we're seeing a lot of interest in those sectors, and there's a lot of change in those sectors. So Medical Main Street, it is our life science initiative. It is our healthcare medical device cluster in Southeast Michigan. Most people don't know that we're already number 10 in the country in the life science sector here because it's overshadowed by the automotive industry. People and organizations don't think of Metro Detroit as this, medical technology hub, but we really are, and some of the patents that are coming out of here are pretty interesting. So what's new with Medical Main Street? We launched in 2017 our medical device manufacturers supply directory. This is a complete supply chain for any medical device being developed here in Michigan or anywhere in the world. Again, stating the fact that here in Southeast Michigan, in Oakland County, we can take any medical device idea, from idea to design, to engineering, to prototype, to assembly, to packaging, to mass distribution, and mass sales to the healthcare systems that are here. So we've got that entire product life cycle management available here in Southeast Michigan. And let me tell you, when we go to trade shows around the country, all the large companies, the Covidians, the Medtronics, they'll love this directory because it's laid out very nicely. I'll make sure you get copies of it. Because you can look down, are you looking for somebody with sensor technology to add to your device? You can go there and see which Michigan companies offer that. This is the second edition we've done of that directory. The first time we did it, it was really interesting because we would get calls from the Michigan manufacturers from around the state saying, hey, I just got an order from Johnson & Johnson for my packaging, and I know it's from your directory because I don't know anybody at Johnson & Johnson. So not only were we helping these large medical device companies look at Southeast Michigan as an area, wait a minute, there's happening here, but we're helping Michigan companies get new revenue, a new contract. So to us it was a win-win. In 2017, we also added a commercialization aspect to Medical Main Street. We've hired somebody that will walk through any entrepreneur with a life science or medical technology, IP technology, through the entire process. In the past, we've had physicians from Beaumont, McLaren, St. Joe's come to us, open up their patent book with 17, 18 patents on different technologies, from cancer treatments to joint treatments to bone growth. And really, we didn't have anything to do with them. And we really didn't have any services to offer these entrepreneurs. So with this commercialization position, our hope is to pull all those technologies together. And through our Medical Main Street Roundtable, which is our one-stop shop, we've kind of revised the makeup of that board so that it's made up of service providers that will help that medical device technology go from idea to end product.
Irene, are you getting into the hospitals and the hospital staff to let them know it's available?
Yep.
They're really the key. because they can unlock some doors. Let's say, you know, you're an entrepreneur with a new device or something, and, you know, so one of our health systems, hey, what do you think about this? Can you help us vet this? Can you talk to a couple doctors? Does this make sense, or is this entrepreneur just way off? They're the buyers, I mean, of a lot of the stuff. So they're really key, all of them.
And they're active too. They want to help us, which is unique because there's no other place in the country where we as economic developers can bring the buyers of their technology to them to vet the technology. I don't care what Ohio offers in terms of cash, or Tennessee, that is valuable to companies because they get their products in their customers' hand. And Medical Main Street is that conduit that helps them do that. And, you know, we still do attraction. We're out there, you know, trying to attract companies, and we've been successful. 1.1 billion in new investment in this sector. So again, our focus is to diversify the makeup of Oakland County, and we think medical technology, life sciences is one of those strong diversification areas. Go ahead.
Yeah, there are a lot of automotive suppliers that are probably working at higher tolerances, and if they would think about this industry and this sector, they probably could make a lot more money. And they have the engineering and they have the talent to do that. So that's part of, you know, when we're out talking, even to the automotive, is trying to expose them that, you know, there's some other industries there.
Absolutely. And then Tech 248. Tech 248 was really interesting because we kept seeing a trend in our successes every month. We kept seeing a lot of IT tech. So what we did, Greg Doyle, the manager of this program, and myself and Dan, we pulled together some of the CEOs of these IT firms, and we wanted to talk to them. We had like, I think, 4 or 5 focus group meetings with them, just to pick their brains, see what's going on in this industry. First of all, why are they coming to Oakland County? Second of all, we kept seeing a growth in this industry, so were there things that we could help them with to accelerate that growth? And so we brought them together, and there were some things that we noticed that they needed help immediately with. But of the 2,000 IT tech companies, we kind of grouped them. They fell into these 8 categories, which you could tell could be independent sectors of their own. But the areas that they asked us to help them with, obviously talent. There are open positions in software engineering, coding that they need filled today. But what was encouraging was all of these IT tech companies were also interested in helping us build that talent ecosystem, that pipeline, to keep delivering those IT workers in the future. So that was really nice. And then connectivity. A lot of our small tech companies, they're in that small and mid-sized category size. So they wanted to see who else is here. So every month we have a Tech 248 meetup. We had one this morning, Greg, that was wonderful, at Dan Law in Novi. There were about 100 techies there. And the whole point is for them to start getting to know each other. We believe that if they start getting to know each other and start working together, they can partner to do more work together and get bigger contracts and more revenue. Our goal is if we help our businesses be more financially successful, they're going to have to hire more people. They're going to have to make more investments. So it's kind of like a backdoor to economic development. And then branding. A lot of our companies have offices in other parts of the world too. And when they bring customers to the Detroit area, sometimes they have to sell the area as a tech area to be legitimate. So we're focusing a lot on branding this area in tech, especially for Tech 248. So business development, many of you were at the State of the County. Overall, in 1 year we broke a record. We've never hit the $1 billion mark in 1 year. It's all attributed to our great staff and the passion and the follow-up that they do. But overall, emerging sectors, we're close to $5 billion in new investment. That is true diversification. These are real companies, real technology, real jobs in these other sectors. Okay.
We also get a lot of support from the communities, and you know, from city managers to planning or economic development staff. It's very much, you know, you hear this a lot, but it's definitely a team sport where it takes all of us to put together the right proposal and to be successful. We couldn't do it without our incredible community partners.
Absolutely. And our academic institutions, all of our economic development partners. And we're excited to see Uber and Waymo are located here in Oakland County. They could have chosen anywhere else. Actually, Waymo, we're trying to, they want to show us some of their self-driving technology, so we're working with their government affairs person to show us, schedule a date to go out there. And our foreign direct investment, our foreign-owned firms, 1,000 foreign-owned firms in 39 different countries. That has put us on the map globally. And as a result, we sit on several FDI national committees that recognize us as a leader in that area. Not to mention, you know, again, we assisted companies last year from 13 countries that came here. And again, partnerships with those ethnic chambers, the Japanese Business Society, the Chinese Business Society, the Swedish American Chamber. We're involved in those. We sit on those boards. Again, it helps us do our job better. And we also host several delegations too. We hosted we were part of the Hungarian delegation that came. The Hungarian ambassador to the U.S. was here, and we're foreseeing a lot of partnerships going forward because their emerging sectors match up our emerging sectors. Okay, our One-Stop Shop Business Center. This is where the business counseling happens. We have programs for startup businesses as well as second stage, and we're really focusing in on those 17,000 second stage businesses in Oakland County. And something new, we launched 1 Million Cups last year, which is a program under the Kaufman Foundation. And if you ever have an opportunity to attend those, I invite you. They're the first Wednesday?
Second Wednesday
of every month at the conference center. If you want to see raw technology and entrepreneurs just pitching up there, that is the place to be. I love attending those because I'm like, oh my God, what cool technology exists there. So we're really excited to have that. This, every time I talk about it, people are amazed. If you have an idea, if you have been, you know, thinking about starting your own business, walk-in Thursdays, both at our county and then at the city of Novi. It's our second location. Come in. Your constituents can come in, run that idea by our business counselors. We'll do some initial counseling, some initial research to see, is it a viable business or is it just a hobby? And both answers are very important. Some of the successes they've been working on, the workshops that they do, amazing. I mean, I get letters and emails from people that have taken the workshop classes and have gotten counseling from our business counseling, just talking about how valuable they were to their business. Great successes. This division also recently launched for that second stage business. That's what I love about our team. It's like they work with these second stage businesses, they identify needs, and then they come to Dan, myself, and Phil to come up with a solution. So they kept seeing a void in leadership. Like a lot of the second stage businesses needed leadership training. So they came to us, and then we partnered with HR, and now we're offering leadership courses for these second stage businesses. So that, I think that's what makes us successful is we identify problems, we find solutions, and we implement them.
The second stage would be kind of made the grade, and now they really want to grow it. And so from an economic development perspective, you know, there's great opportunity there. They want to grow from, say, 5 employees to 10, or from 50 to, they want to take their business to another level. So we continue to work with the entrepreneurs, which is amazing in this community, in good times and bad times, how vibrant it is. A lot of times it is after the first of the year, and the New Year's resolutions, you know, the classes are really busy, but it's always churning. People always have ideas, and whether you're skilled trades or retail or you know, very high technology. Commissioner Berman.
I was just going to ask, are there size and/or revenue restrictions?
For our customers, no, they're not. The second stage is uniquely defined as at least 9 employees and at least $1 million in revenue. That's a standard classification for second stage. But for who we serve, absolutely not. It could be one person that has a full-time job that's thinking about doing it part-time. But absolutely.
I do have another question too.
Yes.
Go back to the previous slide.
Yes.
For your leadership training, do you take that on the road, or do they have to come to you? Because there might be some DDAs or some things out there that are thinking about helping some of their local business owners that need help in leadership training.
Yeah, yeah.
This is something that's brand new. And the leadership training is provided to existing clients. It becomes part of a kind of a suite of services.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll come into a second stage business and we'll do something called a business performance assessment first. That's usually when we identify the need for leadership development training, and we do 360 assessments to identify who needs what. And again, as Irene said, we worked with the HR department to develop this whole program, so we've got some great expertise. But we customized it for small businesses, and we really just launched it in November.
Okay, thanks. The reason I ask is, I'd never introduced Mr. Curtis, Jack Curtis. He's the chairman of the Economic Development Committee for Oxford Township, and which I have the honor of actually sitting on that committee with him.
Mhm.
One of the things that came up at one of our last meetings with the Chamber of Commerce is one of the weaknesses that we see at many of the businesses, local businesses, is
Mhm.
leadership. They really don't understand what really it takes, and surprisingly, to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
There's some big holes and some big basics about, I think the example Jack uses all the time is, you're trying to sell a product to business women, but you're only open from 9 to 5.
Mhm.
They're all working from 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
That's really a good business strategy. Some of the basic things that might help them, hearing it from somebody else might be a better thing. That's kind of why I asked if you're going on the road and
Right.
go in front of a DDA or a chamber, do like a talking or some of their regular meetings that they have,
Mhm.
maybe come and do a small presentation to them
Mhm.
relative to something like this.
No, we're always open to do that,
Absolutely.
anywhere, anytime.
Anytime. And we do a lot of that now, and we love that because we get right in the face of the small businesses directly. And then Mary's group, the SBA 504 loan that we do at the county. She runs a very efficient ship. Her team there is amazing. This is where the tax exempt revenue bonds are as well, the program for manufacturing and nonprofits, and our microloan program, which the commissioners helped renew last year. Some of the successes are right there, $35 million in SBA loans for last year, the jobs, the projects. What is new is now, we previously were only able to do the SBA 504 loan in Oakland County, but now we're able to do that statewide. So we're doing deals in Detroit and the west part of the state, so it really has opened up the market because of their great reputation and the great work that they do. Marketing and communications, our eProsper newsletter, which I know all of you are already registered to receive. And then our new magazine. If you need boxes of these sent to you, we can get them to you for your constituents, for the hotels in your area. We've got them, but they are going everywhere. They're in all the welcome centers throughout the state of Michigan. Just email me or Steve Huber, send us a text, and we'll get those to you. But they put on all the events. We do a lot of events at the county because our focus is to outreach the businesses, the residents, and the communities. So our Economic Outlook Luncheon, our Leap 40, all the programs that we do are all organized and planned internally and marketed internally. And our culture and my great artists and our social media platforms, which are very active. We're always looking for content, so as you're out in your communities, constituents, we want interesting people, interesting businesses, interesting successes. Send them to us. We like to feature them in our newsletter, in our magazine, in our social media platform. We're always looking for content. Send it to us. New 2008, the 2017 Business Roundtable recommendation was to secure an outside PR firm to help us communicate these resources and some of our successes nationwide. We do a good job of promoting them here locally, but we need some of our success to be known nationwide. So we are in the process of securing a company to help us with those initiatives. Workforce development, Jennifer, you did a great job covering a lot of this. I won't redo it. Yeah. Planning. This is where we serve our communities, is through our planning department. All the master plan reviews, all the non-motorized plans. Brett and his team are involved in everything with communities. Historic preservation, our Main Street program is under planning. Our No-Haz collection, which is one of the best programs I've seen, Connie can attest to that, nationwide, our green schools, and our One Stop Ready program is under planning. And One Stop Ready, let me tell you, has been transformational for the developers in our state and throughout the country. Because now we have something to promote that separates Oakland County from other areas where they could invest their money. We are One Stop Ready. One Stop Ready to them means time and money saved. So we have that program in place, and it's been going great. I don't know if you want to add anything.
And customer friendly.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. Customer Service 101. Our 23 Main Street programs, our downtown, we are going to be looking at really putting a campaign together to promote our downtowns. Most people don't know that we have those 23 Main Street communities. Our Main Street manager, John Bry, he has some great ideas to elevate the Main Street program, and we are excited to implement those in 2018.
it's an economic development program
It is, absolutely.
for our downtowns and a little bit of the commercial, couple commercial corridors in there, but it really is focused on the historic preservation element. We've got some great bones in this county, and it's an economic development program.
What's Up Ready, I mentioned
Yep.
that a little bit already. Our showcase that we do every year, where all of our What's Up Ready communities have an opportunity to bring one site, one development site that they're excited about. That is one of the developers' favorite events every year. I get comments from them, Irene, this is the best event. I feel like a candy in the candy store, because there's no other place in the country that we bring their investment opportunities to them with the decision makers around the table. The mayors, the city council, the city managers, they're all there. So you see a site you like, you can talk to them right there in person. There's no other place in the country that offers that, and that has become a very sought after event.
We get developers, I never knew that this site was a priority of the city of Oak Park. Here's the staff, here's the mayor. So make those connections, as an example. It's a lot of fun to see the light bulbs and the wheels turning.
The trails, a lot of the rail trails, we've worked very heavily on. Kristen from Brett's team has done an amazing job in helping, bicycle paths and helping all that, and we're doing a lot in the city of Pontiac right now. As well as, because the city of Pontiac did not have an economic development staff 2 years ago, Brett and his team were, along with the stakeholders in Pontiac, were responsible for getting an EDA grant from the federal government to help put that economic redevelopment strategy together. And now we're working on it with the city of Pontiac and the other stakeholders in Pontiac to implement that. So, very exciting.
And those are additional selling points on the economic development side. Businesses of today are, it's always bottom line, but it's also looking at the things in a community, school systems, education, and things like rails to trails, bike paths, other options for their employees.
I could not agree more. I mean, talking to businesses, what we've seen in the last few years, they're looking at where they want to live first, and then they'll place their business. So I'd say even in the last 4 to 5 years, the sense of place has become even more important than incentives or tax rates. Where they want to live is oftentimes what dictates where they're going to locate their business and their investment. Community and home improvement. This is a division that focuses on our housing stock. Making sure that our residents can stay in their homes, helping new time buyers understand all the different mortgage options. They help repair the homes. They offer a loan program for low-income residents to help fix up their house and maintain that quality of life. The foreclosure prevention during 2008, that was what they spent most of their time on, and they've done an amazing job. There's still some foreclosures today. There always will be foreclosures, so they focus on that, but I'm happy to hear that they're focusing a lot on new buyers, new home buyers now as well. Not to mention all the work they do in the communities using the community block development grants to remove blight. They're working on Pontiac-wide sidewalk street. So the depth and the breadth of projects that we work on in economic development are impressive.
How many communities are we serving?
53.
53.
53
Yep.
communities. That's a lot. Not to mention we have award-winning counselors being recognized by MISHDA. That's a big deal, and we have 2 of them in our county. We're very honored. And we have the new videos that your department did with our Marcom community, Carrie, I think speak to the great work that you do. The future. Okay, this is what we're here to talk about, right? The future of Oakland County and economic development. How do we remain leaders? How do we keep this engine going? How do we keep being #1? How do we keep getting awards? How do we keep breaking records? That is a priority for the county officials, for the residents. They'll be continuing to invest in economic development. It's like Dan said, economic development success only happens with good partnerships with our local communities, with our chambers of commerce, with our state partners, with our federal partners. Only when we have good partnerships are we successful with that. So maintaining those relationships are key. Attracting and retaining the best talent in economic development. Our staff right now, I can honestly say, is the best we've ever had in Oakland County. the way they work together, the way they cross-promote each other, the way they work together on initiatives, on projects. You heard Jennifer talk about workforce development person specifically assigned to Tech 248 because the need is there. Again, it's the best talent we have. If we can keep them where we have them now, I think we'll be good to go for the future. But that is the key, is making sure you have the right talent in the right places. And stability in local, state, and federal government. Every so often we get legislation that comes through, you know, Lansing, through DC, that could be detrimental to the work that we do. Those are things that keep us up at night. And I sit on several economic development boards in Washington, D.C. And the one thing I keep hearing from the multinational companies that invest in many locations throughout the U.S. is stability. They're looking for political stability and economic development stability. They don't want to invest in a state that one year, loves them and then the next year hates them or puts, penalties on them. So stability. And Michigan has always been a very good state, stable state for investment. So that's encouraging. So this is what keeps me up at night, I'm sure, all of our economic development staff. Global competition. Not so much global competition for businesses, because we have a good business case here. We could sell Oakland County, we could sell Michigan. If we get to the decision maker in time, before they make any decision, before they get swayed by Tennessee's cash grant or whatever, we can sell Oakland County. We have a good business case and we do a very good job of selling it. Talent is an issue, and it will be an issue. Look at the SEMCOG 2045 report. We're aging, not a lot of births. We're not going to have people to fill the jobs. Sure. That's something that keeps us up at night. Other things that keep us up at night: geopolitical factors that are out of our control. The European recession, North Korea. We can't control that, but it does affect the work that we do, and it does affect our economy. We talked about federal and state regulations. For retail specifically, Amazon, and I use Amazon but more on retail. How do we keep our businesses, our local businesses, our restaurants, our little shops, our retail thriving and prosperous through this online revolution? And artificial intelligence, automation. What true effect will that have on our talent and the need for talent in the future? Those are the challenges we face.
Just a point on the global competition. It's on a daily basis that, we're going in to meet with companies and they will say that, oh, Governor of Kentucky was just here, or Governor of Alabama was just here. And so that's the team nature of communicating with our local partners, chambers of commerce, making sure that, that the businesses are aware. And as Irene said, all we're looking for is the opportunity to make that case. But the competition, not only governors here in the U.S., but globally.
Yeah, I was so happy that Nikki Haley is no longer the governor of South Carolina. Several of our Tier 1 suppliers had her cell phone on had her direct cell phone on their phone. And they're like, I can call Nikki Haley anytime, and she'll give me whatever I want. I'm like, unless she's no longer my competition. But it is not just competition from other states. It's countries, too, that have become sophisticated now. They've learned the importance of economic development. So we're seeing competition from Dubai, from Estonia, that can offer free cash, free building. So but again, I'm not worried about that because we have a good business case. So how are we addressing these challenges? Workforce development, population, it's squeezing what we can out of what we have. That means making sure that our disenfranchised residents are engaged with employment, the underemployed, the part-time, offering opportunities for them to get into the workforce. More K-12 engagement to make sure that those students are going through are looking at careers that our employers need in the future and today.
Can you expand on that?
I'm sorry?
Can you expand on
the K-12?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of kids, if you ask them today what they want to be, they'll probably say, doctors, lawyers, yeah. But are they aware of careers that are in need right now? That's kind of the whole initiative with Oakland Next, is to bring that awareness to K-12, saying GM needs these type of employees. The connected car industry is going to need these type of employees. You want to develop the next iPhone, you have to have this type of skills, these type of careers, develop the next iPhone or the next game. So it's really communicating with those students to make sure we're guiding our K-12 students in the fields that our employers are gonna need in the future.
But some of the problem, commissioners, is I know of some districts that are abandoning their STEM programs. And because they can't afford them.
Yeah.
They can't afford to have any kind of education that's out of the norm or that costs anything extra. And it's kind of sad because the parents are expecting it, the kids are expecting it, and the school districts can't offer it. And so we're gonna have a struggle, and when we talk about workforce development, we're gonna have a struggle to have the right people, and we're gonna have to start importing them from other places if we can't grow them here. So there's a lot of work that we have to do to try to make sure that K-12 stays in going in the right direction, and then really going out into higher ed. And I think the skills assessment that was done, the needs assessment, was given to the higher ed folks saying, these are the people we need, now grow them. And there'll be jobs here for them when they get done. And that's the key, I think, it goes right back to the beginning, jobs, jobs, jobs.
And the other area that we're really focusing on is the college graduates. I mean, Amazon comes in, Apple comes in, they recruit, 50% of our software engineers from U of M, from Oakland U, and we don't have an opportunity. So we're really looking at how can we get to those students in college before they even make a decision where they're gonna live afterwards, and get them engaged with exciting jobs here in their own backyard. So that's another area. With artificial intelligence, how are we addressing that challenge? Because we really don't know yet what that effect is going to be, I think our only strategy to kind of combat that is making sure our residents are skilled, are able to learn, and able to learn again and again and again. So offering, having flexible training programs. So if we need to go down this direction and then we see a trend in this direction, being able to quickly transfer into that direction, start offering training for our employees in that new direction. And making sure our residents understand that they have to, it's a lifelong learning. It's not a matter now of, going to college, getting a degree, working at, the same job. I think that the speed of technological advancement is advancing itself. So having that flexibility, that's all we can plan for is the flexibility and being prepared.
Nancy, go ahead.
Yes.
When you're talking about engaging K through 12, what are some of the things you're doing?
Working with Oakland schools very carefully. We partner with them on their advisory committees for their different curriculum paths. So we're placing employees, they come to us and say, I need IT companies, I need advanced manufacturing companies. So we're bringing our employers to sit on those advisory committees that set the curriculum. That's one. And then we're also, go ahead.
Sorry, I mean, we have taken companies over to the technical centers, and they were absolutely blown away by what is being taught there to our juniors and seniors. I saw one company set up a follow-up meeting. We were just doing a tour, and he set up a follow-up meeting for several of the company managers to come in and consider hiring those students upon graduation. So the manufacturing day is a part of that. The My Career Quest is if we do the My Career Quest every year, we can get 10 to 15,000. We're just exposing. Okay, just this year.
Let's do it here. If we do it well.
But the kids need exposure to the options. I think we give them pretty good exposure to sports and other activities. But what about careers? They know what mom and dad does, aunt and uncle. How do we go? So we do work with Oakland schools and Jennifer, and
there's still a stigma on the technical schools, and having a son that went through the Oakland Northwest, they used to make fun of him when he'd get on the bus to go off to technical school because that's what he wanted to be. And as long as remember the old Voc Ed, remember the old getting on the little bus to go off to the school. There's a lot of people that still see that as a detriment, and so parents are really against their kids doing this, and so we have to change that stigma. And I know that Oakland Schools is working on it. I know that I'm on the Metropolitan Affairs Coalition downtown. We talk about STEM education and the stigma that skilled trades have. I don't know about you, but welders are making $100 grand a year right now. So automotive mechanics are making 120. So if we can find the right way that they can use their hands, but we don't even have shop classes in school anymore. And we have to change that whole dynamic. I think Oakland Schools is trying, I know the school districts are trying, and all we can do is try to assist and help them get there longer term.
And exposure, I think what Dan said is key, is having an opportunity for kids to learn about what careers are available. We're hosting a Google CS event later this month where we're bringing third, fourth graders.
It's 4th through 8th graders, about 300 of them from the area and across the state. And they'll be exposed to 10 of our companies, many of which are Tech 248 companies, at 10 different stations where they'll rotate through to see how coding relates to what's going on in the business world and technology.
More of that.
Thank you.
Welcome. With state and federal legislation, again, our partnerships, our lobbyists, they help us stay up front so that we can provide guidance and, you know, information to our legislators. And I've been to DC, I've been to Lansing. Again, the more we can educate them on what we're doing, how we're working, what are the needs in the business community, in the residents community, in the communities themselves, the better able they'll be able to put legislation that helps the work that we do. With Amazon, our retail, that is a focus, that's a national concern. It's not just in Oakland County, but our main streets and our other retail corridors. We'll be focusing a lot of that in 2018. Again, we hold workshops through our main street communities for our downtowns, educating them on what are the trends, like experience shopping, and even our Shop Small Saturday helped with that initiative, bringing attention to our small businesses and some of the great retail that we have here in our county. And then just our fun facts that we share. That's the end of our presentation. Open to any
Thank you very much. Questions? Commissioner Taub.
I just wanted to say something that you didn't even mention you do. One of the things that Oakland County is so good at is helping other people, and particularly other counties. I had a request from Otsego County about a year or so ago. They wanted to know how we did economic development, and Irene was just incredible. She shepherded these people around and got all things organized for almost 2 full days. But the best part is that after Irene finished this, they went back home, put some of our ideas into work, and then Phil Bertolini and Brooks toddled up there in January and spoke to them at one of their big meetings that they have for economic development. And then that was just perfect. So I wanted to thank you for those kinds of things that you do that most people don't see. I mean, we see a lot of this stuff going on in Oakland County. I also wanted to commend Jennifer. I don't know if she's still used to
She's saying
because she is doing one terrific job. Okay, really and truly. And Commissioner Quarles, it is very hard to change the mindset. You know, if you're sitting in your backyard or going to a cocktail party and someone says, where's your son going to college? You say, well, he's going to Michigan. And his daughter's going to Michigan State and my kid's going to be a plumber. Okay? We got to fix that.
Yeah.
By the way, plumbers are $200 an hour.
Yeah, we all know that.
We know that.
I think Brooks' comment was he doesn't know why he went to law school.
But, you know, now's the time, because we are at 3% unemployment, and Michigan's at 3.5 or 4%. So we still have 3% to go. You know, our high water or low water mark was like summer of 2000, and we were down about 1.2, 1.4%. So that's still the goal. You know, we have, yeah, there's issues with, you know, training and maybe transportation, but we still have a ways to go. And then if we get to that level, you know, I think we are starting to recruit some people in from around the Midwest, and that's a great spot to be.
Commissioner Taub.
Are we working at all with the social services or whatever it's called this week department, so that when they, Jennifer, I think you are, do they send referrals to you so people who need jobs and need training, which is often the cry that we hear?
Yes, so any individual that's receiving any form of public assistance is referred to the Michigan Works office, and they're actually required to report to our office 40 hours per week until they find employment. Many people don't know that. There are some exemptions, so if the individual is disabled or sometimes caring for a family member, they may be exempt from that. And then there's also a new requirement for food assistance recipients. So for many years, food assistance recipients would receive food stamps if they're between the ages of 18 and 49 now, and they're able-bodied adults. They're now required to participate in employment and training programs to receive those food assistance benefits.
And how is that working out? Are we actually getting people?
Well, there are more people dropping off of receiving the food assistance than
Okay.
engaging in the employment and training programs.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I don't necessarily have a question, more of a request.
Okay.
Thank you for all this. I think it's great, and I think it's a great introduction for everybody that is new on this committee to understand. I think we have a good idea of what was going on, but not a full understanding. But my one request is, being an engineer, I like data. And you had a lot of great points on there, but I'd like to see, you know, I'm sure you guys are tracking information for probably every one of these departments or any one of these groups. How are you tracking each group, and how are you making assessments on, is the trend, because you mentioned trend a couple times, trend going up, trend going down. You know, I'm being an engineer, I like graphs, you know, I like pictures, I like to see stuff and see how stuff's working. And so I'm wondering, maybe at the next meeting, if you could bring some more of that information, or give us a good idea of what you're doing and how you're tracking information.
Sure.
So, because I think one of the things actually, I know one of the things we're hoping to do is, you know, when the next recession is, because we all know it's only a when. How are we preparing for that? I know you got some great bullet points on there, but what's the data showing you? Are you expecting it? I know Brooks has the economic luncheon every year. We bring
That's a
people in,
big
and
piece.
they do a great job of presenting that out. And there's a lot of data in that, which gives us a good idea. But I'm sure you guys have other aspects and other data that you're using to run your departments.
Yes.
And just to piggyback off of that if I can, so, you know, how are we tracking historically? How is the diversification gonna help us, potentially in the future? And how are we comparing to, let's say, other, counties? Both here locally within our region and potentially, you know, nationally.
Absolutely. Through the economic outlook forecast, if you look at the previous years, you'll see the graphs, the actual data changing, the numbers and the graphs from, you know, lower skilled wage jobs coming to the county to higher skilled wage jobs, which again, that's part of the emerging sectors program, so we know we're succeeding in that. And then the fact that our average wages per week keep going up statistically. And we look at that through the Department of Labor and through state tracking, so we'll be happy to do that.
Great, thank you. Any other questions, comments, requests? Seeing none, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do you have something you want to mention, Phil?
No, we're just, we're already
Already working on it. What I like to hear. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The last item we have is communications. Can I get a motion to receive and file communications? Moved by Berman, supported by Quarles. Any questions, comments on what we're about to receive and file? No, good. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, motion carries. Any other business to come before this committee? To come before this committee, I'll say that right. Seeing none, I'll call us adjourned at 3:30. Thank you all.